Well, I am very excited and nervous to be here and to share with you. I do want to let you know, many of you don't know, where's all the 2 stars, 3 stars? Can you raise your hand? I can see out there. Just so you know, you might not realize that I'm actually out here to unveil a new product line. They were kind of hiding it from you. We are now selling zebra jackets to go with the bean pops. I'm totally kidding. But I wanted to have a surprise for you. We're not selling the jackets, but it'd be fun, wouldn't it? We could get on that. All right, I am actually very excited, yet nervous, to share this with you. I am very passionate about my team. As John said, I do love to lead by example. I think it's great when we have personal sales and we have great personal recruiting. But I really think as a leader, you've become full circle when you can teach that to others. It's very, very, very important. When you can go online and look at recognition, and the first thing you're looking at is your team sales and your team recruiting, rather than your personal sales and personal recruiting, seriously, you have come full circle as a leader. So, recruiting. You want to talk about the recruiting at every party. You guys would not be here if you didn't know how to recruit, because you couldn't be an executive, right? But you want to make sure that your downlines know how to recruit. So basically, a lot of people say to me, well, how do you recruit so many people? I do parties, and quite honestly, I do the Ask Me game at every party. Oh, by the way, on page 23, there is a section of nice notes that Angela typed up for me that you can actually fill in if you want to look in your catalog to write in there. Sorry about that. So I talk about it at every party. The Ask Me game, you can quick search it online if you're not familiar with it. And basically, that's what I do. I talk about it at the parties. I do the Ask Me game. If I have somebody that is interested in celebrating home, even remotely, I have them fill out an application right then and there. And that is somebody that is, not even for sure that she's going to come into this business, but I have them fill it out, I have it on hand, and I follow through within 24 hours. I don't wait 2 or 3 days, and I don't tell my designers to wait 2 or 3 days. They lose interest, they lose the excitement. So get an application and just say, you know what, which kit would you choose if you were to come into this business? What would you do? And then you follow through within 24 hours. But the key to this business and key to being a successful leader is getting your unit to recruit along with you. It makes things much easier. When you're recruiting and they're recruiting, again, makes it much easier. I do talk about it at the unit meetings. And something that I want you to do at your unit meetings that I found was quite interesting, I do a reverse Ask Me game. And this was kind of eye-opening. I was telling Angela when I did it at my last unit meeting. And what I did is I went around and I pretended I was a guest at a party. And I went to each designer and I gave them a question. How much money do you make? How much does it cost to get started? Are there any perks and incentives to celebrating home? And you would be very surprised how your designers answer. So I did it as a teaching segment. I, of course, didn't want to shoot down their responses on how they responded, but I wanted to give them proper verbiage to help them bring people into this business. So what I did, for example, I'm not going to go through all of them, but just to give you one quick example, how much does it cost to get started? Well, my one particular designer said, well, it's $199, but you can get a kit for $149, but I have a half-price certificate, but in 3 months you can earn it for free, and then you get $180 in gift certificates, and when do you want to sign up? It doesn't work that way. So you have to give them the verbiage, basically, right now we have the opportunity that you can come into this business for $49. You have unlimited overtime, unlimited time off, and, just elaborate simply. They were giving too much information. And they were having close-ended questions. So you just definitely want to go through and do a reverse Ask Me game and see how they're actually answering those questions if you're coaching them to do the Ask Me game at the parties. Now, again, I'm not here to teach you recruiting, but what I would like to focus on is retention. How are you going to get those new recruits to come in business and stay in business? How many of you would probably be on a beach in the Bahamas if every single person recruited in your unit was still working right now? I know I would be, right? Right? We'd be, yeah, exactly. Penny, Steve, we're going to the Bahamas soon, okay? The first thing that I do is when the new designer gets keyed in, they physically have bought a kit, is they will receive 2 emails from me. The first email is a welcome email, welcoming them to Celebrating Home, and I attach the Smart Start. I want them to know right away they are in a contest. I call it a contest. All new designers are in a contest with Celebrating Home. And I do tell them it's an optional contest. I don't want anybody forced that they have to get a kit refund. I say you have an optional contest. I make it sound fun. In that email is the date and time of their training class and what they should bring. Very simply, a notebook, a highlighter, a date book, and a calculator is what I have them bring to class. And then I instruct them on how to get to the online classes that they need to complete before they come to my training class. This is important. My training class isn't to replace all of the great resources that we have online. It's to enhance them. So I do make sure they know how to get there. You'd be surprised how many that don't click on new designers and see, you know, lessons 1 through 6 on there. I had somebody that watched like every video on there and didn't realize that there were lessons 1 through 6 under new designers. She went to the video center. So again, that's our job to make sure they know where they're going, okay? The second email is 10 easy steps to success. You can quick search this right online. And the other attachment with that is answers to commonly asked questions. And it tells them how to set up their ACH and how to get their business up and running. Just some resources that they can start to look over before they come to the class with you. Now, the new designer training class, the day of. My classes is usually about 2.5 hours, unless they stay a little bit longer. One thing before I get into my class outline, I will tell you a couple things. I do not have a case set up. I am not showing them the computer. This is strictly about getting their business up and running. The biggest reason people fail in direct sales, in any direct sales, as party plan companies, is why? No bookings. So if they don't know our hostess program and they don't know how to book a party, why do they need to know how to set up a case and why do they need to know the computer? They don't. So we have to teach them that. So the first thing I start off with at the class outline is I welcome them. I go over our company background, how 2 fabulous companies merged together 4 years ago. I talk about our fabulous Penny and Steve and Eli. I do point that out, just so you know. And I just give a little bit of company background. I have the catalogs in front of them, so they, you know, page and look at pictures and things like that. I pull my Facebook photos up too for you guys. No, I'm just kidding. Monthly goals. Okay, this is very important. Right off the bat, I want them to have a monthly goal. So I tell them to get out their pen and paper. I want a monthly goal. And I might say, Angela, how much money do you want to make in a month? And I have them all write down the goal. And I will do a class for 1 designer, 5 designers. It does not matter. It's on a needed basis. So I want to know what they want to make in a month. Not a week, not a day. I want to know a goal for a month. And I tell them there's no right or wrong answer. You know, Kim might want $500 a month. Somebody might want $1,000 a month. But they need a goal. Then I go and I show them how the new designer earns income with Celebrating Home. Because once I figure out that they have a goal, they want to be able to reach that, they need to know how they make the income. So I explain our compensation plan. I'm not going to explain that to you. You're all leaders, so you obviously know our compensation plan, but you really need to break it down for them. I show them that they mandatory get a 30% profit, and then I have them write down 35, 40, and 45%. And I explain to them the overrides on how they can make 35, 40, or 45%. Whatever works for them, because it's their choice what they do in this business. A lot of times people put $500 to $600 down a month for income, and I find that interesting because I can let them know that they can do 3 parties in a month and earn that income. However, if they wanted to add 1 extra day in there, they would go from $500 to $600 to $1,000 a month by working 1 day a week with Celebrating Home. And their eyes light up. And I'm like, oh, that would be terrible if you had 1 extra party and you made $1,000, wouldn't it? And they usually start laughing and they're like, yeah, that would be terrible. So you definitely want to break that down for them. I explain to them how to set up their ACH and why the ACH is needed. I don't get hung up on the credit card fees. I'm always looking at the positive of things. Credit card fees, it's a way of our business. It's 100% tax write-off. And you know what? People will spend 70 to 80% more money by using a credit card. So I explain to them why we have the ACH, how they're going to get their bonuses and overrides, and how they're going to get paid for online orders that go in. I have them pull out the Smart Start reward sheet. I have that in a packet for them. Very important that you talk about that, and the new designer is to write the dates in that apply to them. So if somebody started in February, I would say, all right, step 1, I want you to write March 31st. Step 2, April 30th, or how many days are in April? Is that right, 30? Thank you, thank you. And then May 31st for step 3, but I want them to be able to see that. And you definitely want to explain to them with the Smart Start. I know you guys are familiar with that, but they may not realize they might make step 1 and for some reason something happens and maybe they don't make step 2, a lot of people don't realize they can still make step 3 and earn that $100 award certificate. So you want to make sure that you point that out. Obviously, we'd love for them to make all 3 steps, but you definitely want to put that out there. And of course, the engraved name tag and a full refund of their kit. So you want to talk to them about that as well. Then I have a sponsoring sheet that is in the pack, and it's right online. You can quick search it, and it goes from a new designer to an executive. I don't go over each step of the career path. They're brand new. I don't want to overwhelm them. However, I go over sponsoring to let them know if they chose to sponsor what's expected of them. They're brand new. They haven't even done a party, but they are going to get a million red flags. They're going to go to a party and, the sister-in-law is going to say, why did you decide to do this? Are you making any money? How much did it cost to get started? What's your discount? They don't realize because they're brand new, those are red flags of people that might want to come into this business. So I make sure, of course, on the sponsoring sheet so they know that they get an extra $50 as well if they bring somebody in within their first 3 months. But I give them verbiage on what the red flags may be. And I tell them I will be there to help train their new designers. What's expected of them? They are to do a grand opening. They will show them how to enter in their orders, and they will mentor them. But I will be there alongside of them to be able to do that, because you don't want to hinder them from bringing somebody new into this business. Also, very importantly, I mention to them, you will never recruit yourself out of business. I make that quite clear with them. You will never recruit yourself out of business. Most of them are afraid to offer the opportunity in the beginning. I see Barb shaking her head over there. They don't want to give away the bookings. And when I explain to them, well, you might have had 2 bookings from that party, but had you had a recruit with 2 bookings, you could be working another party. She could be doing 5 or 6 in a month. And try to explain to them how it could snowball from there. So I do let them know they'll never recruit themselves out of business. Then I go over some grand opening tips. I go over the Frank list. I'm sure you're all familiar with that. Friends, relatives, neighbors, kids' activities, acquaintances, and I have them fill that in. I have them fill in a couple right then and there at the party. There is no time like the present for them to be thinking, okay, what friends might want to do this? What relatives? What acquaintances? What neighbors? Who do I know in kids' activities? And I have them pull that out at the end of the class too. Now, here's the fun part, the hostess program. We all know we have the best hostess program in direct sales, hands down, correct? Yes? Seriously, I researched 10 other companies before I came over to our company, and let me tell you, we do have the best. However, the hostess program is only as good as they know it. So just because you think that your designers took some online classes, you will be surprised at what they don't know with the hostess program. So I go over in full detail, and I go around and I will ask them, why should I have a party with you? And I ask each one of them, why should I have a party with you? Well, you get 20% free. You get 15 half off. I think you get a bonus gift. No, that's a booking gift. You'd be so surprised on how confusing some of it can be for them. Not that it's not fabulous, it is, but they need the correct verbiage. If they don't know our hostess program, they're not going to be able to get bookings. So I go through and give them different verbiage, like when somebody says, you get 20% free. And I said, that is correct. We do get 20% free, but how about wording it, the average party with Celebrating Home gets you a $100 free shopping spree. What sounds better, 100 free or 20% free? And so I do make sure that I'm giving them different verbiage and tips, and I'm sure those are things that you use when you book your parties too. Then I get into the bookings. After they know that the hostess program inside and out, I do use the catalog too as a resource. I tell them, well, you can kind of cheat in the book, and look, it says where your free is, your half off, all that. And then I get into bookings. How are they going to book a party? The first thing I want to make clear with a new designer, and one of the reasons too that can hinder them in this business, is if they're working what they don't want to work. Okay? How many of you, when you first started, said, I'm not doing, we'll say, Saturday or Sunday, and booked a party on a Saturday or Sunday? Anybody? Right. How many of you regretted working that Saturday or Sunday? Thank you, right? I did the same thing. I worked retail for over 20 years, and I said, I am not working Saturdays and Sundays. In my first month in business, there I am on a Sunday. Had a $600 party with 2 bookings. It was great. I had the same party Monday night. Okay? So I regretted being away from my family and not booking what I wanted to work. So I get their calendar out. I make sure that they highlight their next 2 available dates. They use an open date card. You can quick search that online where you put down 2 available dates. Then there'll be 1 date on the back side if the hostess or the possible hostess cannot do those 2 dates. I never have them open a calendar up. Obviously, we know if we open up the calendar, what's going to happen? They're going to the last day, the last date of the month. We never want to open up the calendar. Plus, I want them to cross off days they don't want to work. So what I do is I have them fill that out, and I make sure that they book their parties within 30 days. And I word it as, that is, I give them the verbiage like I'm at a party. And if Kim is at a party in February and, a guest comes up and says, I'll do a party in April for her. Well, April is great, but I really want Kim to get credit, and she's not going to get credit unless we hold it in March. I have this date or this date. And giving the verbiage to push it up. New designers get so excited just to get a booking that they'll write out everything. Some of them right now probably have a date in their calendar for next summer, and you don't know it. I'm serious. So you want to make sure, yeah, right? You want to make sure that they are booking within the 30 days. I also make sure, and I go through the perfect party. This is just not even an option in our unit, in our team. We have wonderful Angela over here who's created the perfect party. We've been practicing it for years, and basically we back all of our company promotions with 2 bookings. So this month, have a $500, some of them have been raising it up to $600 party with 2 bookings, and you are going to get an extra item of your choice, $45 or under, for a penny. And that's how we word it for every promotion. Next month, good, better, best. Have a $500 party with 2 bookings, you are going to earn double free, or on average $200 free. It's giving them the verbiage to be able to do that. So it's very, very important. And we practice the perfect party. I teach them how to turn a no into a yes. This is where you as leaders really need to use your leadership skills. You all know how to book. You all know how to recruit. I have them ask me, why should I not, what is the reason you're not going to get to have a party? Give me a reason that someone's going to tell you no. I have them give me no's. My house is too small. My husband won't let me. I don't have any time. And I will actually go right around the table and turn those no's into a yes. They don't have the verbiage to be able to do that. We need to teach our designers the verbiage, how to turn a no into a yes. You guys know how to do that, but quite simply, I'll pull one out. For example, one of them might say, well, I don't know anybody. And I will say, well, I can appreciate that. You mentioned that you were new in town, and I did hear that you have relatives that live out of town. And she said, yes. I said, well, how about doing a half and half party? And the designer said, well, or the possible hostess said, well, what's that? I said, well, you could do half virtual party, half home show. Just get 5 people to your house. And I announced right there, does anybody get something that you didn't want tonight that you might want to come to Lori's party, even if they don't know Lori? And somebody will always raise their hand. And then I said to her, well, you can do half and half. I'll close out your virtual party, and then we'll do your home show. You only need at least 5 people there. Of course, I'm going to coach her to get more. And that eases their mind, and she'll most likely book a party. So the designer's writing down half and half. I go, you don't need to write down half and half. And they said, well, why? I said, there's no such thing as a half and half party. And they're like, what? I said, all I did was coach her to get pre-sale orders with our online virtual link that I would do with anybody, but I eased her mind calling it half book show, half home show, or half virtual, half home show. It's just verbiage. And then they kind of got it. So I went around the table and turned the no into a yes. So you want to actually give them, my house is too small. That's the best part when they say my house is too small, and I say, well, do you have a couch? And they say yes. Do you have a kitchen table? Yep. We have room for 8 guests right there. Right? So, and usually they'll start laughing and say, okay. Or if it's at a bigger party, I do mention that it is very hard to get bookings sometimes at a larger party rather than a smaller party, just because you feel like a machine writing everything up. So they need to know that. Then we get into a whole section of hostess coaching. I make sure that we get a guest list within 24 hours. An online Facebook event is up in 24 hours. It's just how we do this day and age. You've heard Jeff talk about technology. We do a private Facebook event. I don't care if the party's 3-4 weeks. She's got it out. She's got her invites out, and people already started responding. What I say to the hostess is, this is great. We have bean pots and other pottery pieces on sale for $29. I know your party is March 13th, but my goodness, how many sales can we get already this month? And they're going to hold your free for you to your party in March. Once she sees one online order or people start responding yes, what's going to happen with that party? Typically, it's going to hold. right? It's going to hold. I'm not saying I don't mail some snail mail postcards, and I'm not saying I don't do our Evite system, which is fabulous. I love doing the Evite system. All I'm saying is within 24 hours, a guest list is a must to be able to hold that party. It's great when you got a party dated in your books, but truly you don't have a party unless you physically have some invites out. So I make sure that they know that. I discussed with them setting up the party codes. My designers only know how to set up a party code with Party Assist. I've taught them no other way, so including their own orders. So that's just what we do. I don't show them at the party either, or at the training how to do that yet as well. Hospitality time, very important for them to look for clues. They get there early, they make sure they're set up. The hostess is running around. Sometimes I tell them I answer the door. The door's ringing, hey, how are you? Welcome to my home. They're, who are you? I'm like, come on in, she's in the kitchen. You know, I just talk to them and tell them that they want to build a relationship with the guests, and they should be listening to every single thing that happens when they walk in. You know, Kim's running in going, oh, I was just at soccer and cheerleading, this is crazy. Someone else is running in, I'm sorry, I'm late, I can't stay on my job. Another person's running in, the contractors are redoing my family room, this is crazy, I'm trying to finish up with that. You have a possible recruit, you have a possible recruit, you have a possible fundraiser, and right there you have someone that needs to book a party to be able to redo her family room. So they need to listen for the clues and know that hospitality time is important. Also, they're asking the hostess what she wants as a booking gift. Very, very important, because I incorporate that with my perfect party. In order for Angela to get this hospitality set today, she needs 2 of her friends and family to date a party, and this is what she's going to get, and we are going to help you earn one as well too. So I'm giving them the verbiage and making sure that that's picked out before any of the guests get here. And I'm asking the hostess, who do you think might want to have a party? It does not matter how cute you look that day, how Martha Stewart your display is, they are going to book for the hostess. It's not about you, okay? They're booking for the hostess. Who knows the guests better than anyone? The hostess. So ask her. This is what I'm going to try to get you today, and this is what our goal is, and I definitely encourage her, you know, to help me out with that. It's a team effort, without a doubt. Hostess coaching, there's before, there's during, and there's after the party. I go over the party receipt with them where they write up the sales, and I go over basically the party receipt, but I don't actually do that until they shadow me on a party. I tell them how we goal the hostesses for more sales and more bookings. Your party is never closed until you actually leave there. Until you actually close them a couple days later. They pull out the guest list of who didn't attend. If you do have a physical guest list, have them pull that out right then and there. Who didn't make it tonight? Who might want to date a party for you? You need one more booking to get this beautiful hospitality set. I make sure I stress to them that my parties are closed within 2 to 3 days. You are not doing a hostess a favor to say, you have till next week, I'll give you a week to close out your party. What do you think is going to happen? They don't get any orders because they're lackadaisy and they forget about it. If you give them 2 to 3 days and I say, Angela, you have 2 days to get some more sales and one more booking, she is on it. She is on it because she wants the extra gifts. She wants her items. You're not doing anybody a favor to wait a week, okay? So I make sure I stress to them that they schedule a closing date within 2 to 3 days before you leave the party, not like, oh, I'll call you sometime Tuesday. You're running a business, you date it in there, you coach the hostess to make sure she gives you the free, the half off, the item numbers. How many of you have closed a party, you know, a $1,000 party and you have $200 for free? And she's like, okay, I want the pink candle in the jar, and they got no numbers down. Like, that's all hostess coaching. So you want to make things as easy as possible for them to do business. Make sure they know that the hostess needs to know, please write down your item numbers of what you want in free and half off. Everything is right here on the paper for you. I go around and ask them what they learned in their class and who they're going to book first. I give them a goal, and I usually do a little incentive. I want to make sure, I want to see what they learn. Sometimes they'll surprise you by different things. Most of them will say the hostess program, which tells you they didn't know the hostess program to begin with. And a lot of them will say great booking tips, how to turn a no into a yes. That's really what you want to focus on, the hostess program and how to turn a no into a yes. I give them all the dates of the next meetings and events. If you're an executive in this room, I'm assuming you're holding meetings, and if you're not, it's not good. Not good. You're going to be cut from the team. No, I'm just kidding. But you definitely need to hold meetings and events. I don't care if I have one person at my meeting or if I had 15 or 20 or, events will build. I know, Barb, I'm sure you didn't start off with 5,000 at your first event, right? You started off and you gradually, 2 people, she said, 2 people. And now look at them, hundreds. I read all those fabulous success stories, so you have to start somewhere. Then I scheduled them a date to shadow me. This is very important. This is where everything they learn from the class is going to click in there. And sometimes you'll get somebody that said, I've seen you do 4 parties. And I'm like, I realize you know that I can turn that bean pot into a Frisbee at a party. That's great. However, you were there as a guest. You weren't there as a designer. I'm not even concerned with the demo. They have fabulous demos online. I tell them to watch Laura Shaw. She sells $100,000 a year doing this 20-minute pottery demo. I mean, give them resources. I want them to hear the hostess coaching before, during, after the party. I want them to physically see how I use my open date card and say, what works for you, the 12th or the 13th? I want them to see how I'm turning a no into a yes. They need to see all that. So when they say, well, I've seen you do a party, it's not even about me doing the party presentation. Not that they won't get tips from that, but they need to see how to get people to book, buy, or belong. They're going to see the recruiting game. They're going to see all of that in action. Then I, of course, will have them write up orders and show them the case setup and things of that sort. Most importantly, you want to make sure that you have fun with your team. I make sure that I recognize them all the way through, whether it could be their first party, it could be their making step 1 of Smart Start. Sometimes I have people at home that aren't very supportive, unfortunately, in what they're doing, and they don't get a lot of recognition. And, just doing a little bit of recognition or a lot of recognition, I make sure every unit meeting, everyone that's made step 1, 2, or 3 is recognized. They stand up, they have a smile on their face. Anyone that put $300 and more in orders gets tickets for door prizes. Why do we want $300 or more? Yeah, active. And then, of course, I recognize, higher levels and above, too. So, I give away tiaras. The tiaras are fun, too. What do you do with all those crowns you guys have? I know you got big showcases of crowns. I take mine and I design, I do a junior queen and a senior queen at every meeting. And they have to bring the crown back the next month. And trust me, they don't want to bring it back. So if they don't want to bring it back, they have to have the top junior or senior sales. And they absolutely love that. One of my designers said she drove home and she was waving to people. She had the crown on and she's, hi. Another one said that she brought it and she put it in her case set up and set it up and said, I earned this last month. I was top junior sales. I earned this. And it's just awesome. We've started posting the pictures on Facebook and things of that sort. So anyways, in closing, you guys are all fabulous. Everybody here is fabulous. Go home and take all of this amazing product, all these amazing resources that we have here. Teach your teams. You're all leading by example. You need to teach your teams, and those of you that have executives below you that aren't here, you need to make sure they're doing meetings, hold them accountable, do it as a team effort, and make sure that they know that you are all one big team and you're going to do this together. Thank you.